parents, welcome to part 3 in our series on helping you understand all the different points and motions within the New Testament chant. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2 yet, go back and watch those because we're going to pick up with Jerusalem's second Passover. So obviously you'll need to watch the first 2 before you watch this one. Let's dive in. Let me go all the way through the next parts of this chant, and then I'll explain why we do the motions that we do and the stories and what they mean. So let's go back to Jerusalem for Jesus' second Passover. Jerusalem, second Passover. Stones flew, Jesus withdrew. Counting the cost, seeking the lost. Bah! Judea, Lazarus raised, P.U. Zacchaeus praised. Woo-hoo! So in this part of the chant, we go to the second Passover festival that Jesus attends. At one of those times, we find out that the crowd erupts against Jesus because they understand what he is claiming about himself, that he is the Son of God and that he and the Father are one. So they try to stone him. This is one of the times that Jesus almost gets stoned, but he slips away. We also get Jesus's famous teaching to the disciples about what someone must do to be saved, how they must count the cost, how they must take up their cross, deny themselves, and follow him. This was a very controversial and radical teaching at the time that the disciples didn't quite understand. They would get it much later. Jesus also talks with the 3 parables, the lost coin and the lost son, and how that comes together to help them understand that he will leave the 99 to go get the 1. And that's why that particular parable about the lost sheep, we do the sheep sound at the end. So we do seeking the lost, bah. Then we go to Judea. And this is where Jesus brings his best friend Lazarus back from the dead. We do the P.U. sound as a joke, as a reference to that story. And then we also get the story of Zacchaeus, who was so excited to see Jesus that he climbed up in the sycamore tree, but we know that he was not quite tall enough to see over the crowd. So we do Zacchaeus praised because he was a tax collector. Obviously, we know that Jesus went to his house, ate with sinners, and he repented and gave back more than what he had taken to the people to repent of his sins and to make amends. That's part 3. This is part 3. Make sure you come back and we'll talk you through part 4, which will be Jesus's third Passover celebration.